to No Shites Given. I hope you enjoy this episode. It's a little different. It's a different format. So the first thing that has changed is that we're no longer live, as we mentioned in the last episode. And we're going to be recording and uploading on Sundays now. We still want you to be interactive, so don't forget that you can still comment on the comments below on our Facebook, Twitter, or even on our website. And all that is in our description. So, as the title has said, I'm an idiot, and I have pissed off Sarah. Sorry, Sarah. So, when we were recording this episode the first time, me and Sarah were interacting, and we were through Hangouts, and I have two cameras, one that I'm recording right now, and I would have my computer recording the Hangouts, but just her. That way we could switch scenes between me and her. Well, I never turned this camera on. Well, I had it on, but I never hit record. I'm an idiot, so sorry. So this episode is going to be a little awkward because we're going to go back and forth, but it's just awkward. You'll see. But it's still a good show. It's funny because I also pissed off Sarah. Well, you'll see. So this episode is quite interesting. We talk about first we talked about the shootings that has happened last week, which kind of really we've been having these shootings for a while. Police shootings, police on citizens, citizens on police, and for some reason last week seems a little bit more just kind of really made things serious. So we're going to go ahead and play what me and Sarah talked about, and we can go from there. Let's start with the first kind of thing that's been going on. So in the past week we've had, I'm pretty sure we've had more, but the two predominant shootings, police shootings, plus the shooting on police officers, that also happened. So we got the two shootings on African American men, and one of them was being filmed live on Facebook as it was happening, sort of. It kind of happened after the shooting, but
you see him die on camera,
yes.
though, so it's pretty awful.
And it's a hard thing to watch, definitely. And it happens in front of his daughter, his 4-year-old daughter. And
that was the terrible part for me. I could not handle that. Like, whenever I heard that little girl's voice, I like burst into tears. I couldn't even take it. Like, that was so upsetting to me.
It's emotional. It's an emotional thing. You know, it definitely is. And I would never take away from that either. I mean, I would not wish that on any family, on any child, to see their parent be taken away from them like that. So then there was the other shooting that happened in Louisiana, and that was Alton Sterling and Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Also terrible.
And that one was, you know, as much as I think it was terrible for a 4-year-old to see a parent die, I think the way the second person, Alton Sterling, died was a lot. I mean, again, you don't want to make things worse than the other, but it was kind of very. It almost felt barbaric the way the way Alton died.
I agree. I think they were both pretty messed up, but the Alton Sterling one was. That one's so hard to understand because you can clearly see that both of his hands are restrained now. You can shoot someone for resisting arrest, you know? Like, he may have been, I think he was scared, and so he was kind of fighting a little bit, but he wasn't, his hands were restrained, his legs were restrained. There were two cops on top of him, and then they just shoot him. That just seems ridiculous to me that's their training. And in both of those videos, I noticed in both of them, the cops are freaking out. In
Yes.
both of them, you hear the cop who did the shooting say, "Fuck!" They're freaking out. How is
Yeah.
that? How does that instill confidence in our police force that they're just going to make a decision like this and then freak out about it afterwards? Now, I understand, human beings will make human being mistakes, but this is a mistake that took people's lives. Whether
Exactly. And I
whether it's race thing or not, which I do think definitely race plays a factor, but race thing or not, this is just showing a lack of proper training within our police departments. I think that that's like evident for sure because they have these
absolutely.
preconceived notions already of who they're dealing with based off of race, the area in which they're at, their dress, their mannerisms. So they have all those preconceived notions that already tell them this person is dangerous. And then on top of that, they just freak out and shoot someone. Now, how is it that in a war situation, you have to have all these specific, oh, the person has to be facing in your direction, all these other ridiculous things before you can shoot? But on our own American soil, where we are not at war with our citizens, we have these kinds of problems with cops just
But
freaking out and shooting people.
it almost feels like we are in war though, within
It
like
does now, for sure. It
I
does feel
mean,
like that.
and I find that both sides in a lot of ways are not absolutely right. But
Of course,
again,
as
the
always.
one part that I hate about this whole thing is the generalization, though. Like the
Yeah,
generalization that all blacks are dangerous,
of course.
uh, you know, and the generalization that all cops are dangerous. I think that's. I think we need to take a moment, and I know, you would probably say that, well, it's just the kind of the culture right now of it, and it's going to take a while to change. But it has to change, though. That culture of all
Yeah,
black people are bad, all cops are bad, needs to stop. Like we need to get together and say, hey, you
yeah.
know,
Again, this goes to how we train our children because I mean, people are who they are in adulthood. There's not, I
yeah,
mean, we can do some, but that changes so much harder than it is in children. If we just instill in children that we're all the same, race isn't a factor, cops are supposed to be the good guys.
right.
Like it's
Well,
a noble
and it
profession.
makes it really hard right now because, like, say
Yeah,
for instance, my children, if they're watching this on the news, say one day they get lost or they, something happens to them, God forbid, they're not going to want to go to the cops seeing this.
yeah, I know. It's
They're
really
gonna be
unfortunate.
afraid of police officers, and that's like the last thing I want for my kids because if something happens to them, they just go stray or something, get lost on the neighborhood or whatever happens. I
Yeah,
want them to be able to find a cop and go to the cop and say, "Hey, I need your help." But the way things are right now, and if they saw, and I try to, me and my ex have decided that we're going to try to keep them away from that exposure as much as possible, but we still have to talk to them as far as like the prejudice side of it,
yeah.
you know.
Well, I
But
mean,
we
think
have to
about how
keep
bad
it
it is in the black community. Think about that. These people have to teach their children now not to trust the
right.
police. It's a terrible problem when your children can't feel safe with the people that are supposed to protect them, especially in the black
Absolutely.
community who are terrified now. And that's partially, I think, what's leading to a lot of these. Of course, there are white killings too that are just not, portrayed so much in the media. But,
Right. Well,
when it's this fear breeds fear, breeds fear, breeds fear, and it just leads to more and more of this violence and these killings. And it comes to a point where it's spiraling out of control. And it's scary.
right. It's really sad what happened in Dallas too. Again, on both sides of the coin. That was really unfair for five. You know, again, if we have to look at everything as human beings, like on both sides of the aisle, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
And the fact that five officers, five human beings, have lost their lives, in this rare war that we're in, um, is just tragic because these cops had lives. These cops
Yeah.
had, families and kids that they left behind, you know? And it's sad, it's tragic on both sides, and we need to somehow come together and work together to get this fixed
Yeah, who
sooner than
knows when
later.
that'll
So,
happen.
Sarah and I talked a little bit about the whole community thing where this happens mainly in black communities, which are also the most impoverished communities. Um, so, with that said, if we were to look at a solution for these problems, it would be a two-part, right? And it would take both parties, the police and the communities, to kind of work together on this, and for the rest of us to work together on this. Again, since this is happening mainly, it does happen elsewhere. We're not going to take away from that, but since it's happening mainly in these small communities and mainly black communities, I personally feel that the two-part solution would be one, and it's all revolving around education, which you'll see, and if you haven't heard already, in that last clip, and you will definitely hear in the next clip, is education is key in all of this, right? Education for the police, for one, um, to learn how to do their job better, and education for the community. Now, the education for the community is not just for those small communities, but it's for all the communities, right? So here's the thing: these impoverished communities, they don't get the they don't get the best education. We have this "no kid left behind" policy, and it's not working. It doesn't work, right? Um, and I kind of explain, in I think in the next clip, to Sarah that I think that if we had the same education
It
across the
is
board.
common in black communities. It's unfortunate. It's super fucking shitty for real that
So
it's just more common in the black communities because that's
right, and
where
that's
they've
the
been put.
saddest truth about it. I think, like we try to ignore that. I think a lot of society tries to ignore that. That is predominantly in majority black
Have
communities.
good education, nothing is going to work for them.
I think rest of society needs to do something about it. And the step forward is we need to get in those communities and help them, like you said, giving them the education they need. Why? I just don't get it. Like, why does, you know, I thought we did this whole No Child Left Behind
Oh God,
policy
that's
during
the
the
worst
Bush, which
thing.
was a complete failure, you
Absolute
know?
failure. All it did was drag back every other child.
Exactly. You know, we do stupid stuff like that when the solution is so simple, really. The solution is simple. If you want to make education, equal for everybody, actually make it equal and make it competitive. I bet you anything, if you told an entire state, say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to compete, okay? This everybody gets the same books. Everybody gets and they do it in other countries, and it works perfectly great. I was a product of that. I grew up in Spain. The entire country ran on the same exact books, on the
That's what we
same
should do.
exact stuff, and you you made it competitive. Okay, every school said whoever comes out best, you get rewarded somehow. Either
Okay. Well,
not the school, the student. The student gets rewarded.
yes, but there's a problem. Well, they've tried the whole like teachers and schools getting rewarded and stuff. That was part of like the No Child Left Behind shit, and they started to make up their own tests. And yeah, it's really easy to get good scores on shit if you're making the
Well, that's the
test
thing.
super easy or if you're
I don't think
cheating.
there should. No, I don't think that's fair though. I mean, I don't think. I think there should be some sort of competition for teachers, yeah, to an extent. But I think the most important thing is to make standard. like if you want to say, oh, standardized tests, the one thing I hate that term and I hate the standardized test because, like you said, all it does is it teaches teachers to just teach you what's going to be on the test and not teach you anything else. Okay.
Well, standardized
Uh,
testing is a little more generalized. I mean, a lot of that stuff you can't really study for, you know. But I believe in standardized testing to an extent.
uh, I think that was another thing that made things a lot worse. I really think that there has to be some way where we can reward people, and particularly students. It worked for me in Spain. I think I'm a product somewhat of it. I graduated high school at the age of 16
Mhm.
with very high credits and very high GPA score. And I see it in my cousins that still live in Spain, and yeah, you're going to have people that are not going to want, because some people are not competitive. But guess what? They're still getting the same education as everybody else, and it's fair,
Well, I
and they
definitely do
get out
think
knowing
that
something,
I think that
at least to get
the
them through
country
life.
the country definitely needs to have the same books, but then that poses the question as to who picks the books that everybody gets. Because then it makes it very easy to leave things out, and then the whole country doesn't know about a whole parts of history and shit like
And that
that.
is a dangerous part. That is true. I would
It,
agree with that.
I mean, it's true though because a lot of things do get left out in
Right.
certain areas or whatever, depending on, especially if
That
you're
is
in like
something
the
that,
Bible Belt, a lot of things will be
yeah.
left out and stuff like that. And I think throughout the country, things are left out of our education. A
Well,
lot of
yeah.
things.
And
They
you know
like
what?
to
But
make America sound so beautiful and perfect, and then you get
yes,
out of high school and you're like, shit, it was not beautiful and perfect when you take any kind of college education course.
I think every country kind of
Um,
does that.
we need to get with our representatives and our senators and our politicians and tell them, hey, we're tired of you wasting our money. Okay, um, and you need to go out and vote. And you need to, and if that doesn't work, you need to call your congressman. You need to call your senator. It is our job. We have taken our responsibilities as U.S. citizens and handed them over to one person. Okay, and said, "Here, do what you may with us." If that's not totalitarian, I don't know what is. Okay, the only difference is that you're allowing it to happen when it is your God-given right to not let it happen. So do something about it. Make the phone calls, send the emails, send the letters. If we do this all as a group, as a large group, the entire community, I bet you anything that they will do what you need to do because they want to get reelected. It's that simple. They can't get that money from lobbyists if they're not in office. So here's the part where in the next topic I have pissed off Sarah. Sarah, you are a close friend. I wouldn't have you as a co-host if it were not for that. And I respect your opinions. We don't always agree, but I respect your opinions. So let's go ahead and watch this interaction between me and Sarah. Oh, really quick. So the topic is on Hillary Clinton. So as you know, that was a big thing last week where she did not get indicted. Or is not getting indicted. The Attorney General, uh, Laura Lynch, or whatever her name is, Loretta Lynch, is not going to press charges. A lot of coincidence there, and I know Sarah, you disagree with me. Talking to Bill Clinton and her on the plane, and James Comey coming out and pretty much spilling all the beans of everything she's done, which in any other case would be punished in some way or form.
the person would be punished in any way, shape, or form. But nothing's going to happen to Hillary. Now, Sarah really disagrees and got really mad, and partially for my fault because I get really passionate about these kind of topics. And yeah, so let's go ahead and watch the clip and let's see Sarah get mad at me.
All right.
Yeah,
The next topic, and I know you've been dreading this, Hillary Clinton not being charged.
mm-hmm.
Now, I see it from both sides, okay? I get it. Here's the thing that gets me with it, I think. The one thing that FBI Director James Comey did bring up, and I agree with him to an extent, was I have the transcripts right here from his that statement that he made when that first came out. And I'm going to quote, "Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information or judgment, is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such case. Prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before bringing charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of the evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions are considered the context of the person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past." And then looking back, actually no, that's not where it was. I can't find it now. Anyways, with just that quote, we have seen incidents where in the military or in the government where things have been leaked out, right? And usually what happens, the punishment would be loss of security clearance or more training or something to that extent, right? No real charges, nobody goes to prison. I at least have never seen it, for the exception of 2 cases where it did happen. Okay? And this is where I think that where I see where people think it's unfair. And that's with Edward Snowden, who is being charged with treason, and the Army, I forgot to pull up his name, the Army guy that got information out to WikiLeaks, who was imprisoned and, you know, is still waiting further sentencing, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So is it unfair that Hillary Clinton did not get charged with, because in his transcripts, he says very clearly that she violated these rules. She allowed top secret information to go into unclassified servers.
It says potential evidence, but I'm not going to say that
in
she
his
didn't do anything wrong.
statement, he actually said that there was clear evidence that it did get to her unclassified server. The evidence of intent is not clear.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying she didn't do anything wrong. Definitely not. She did shit wrong. But I'm going to say they know about it more than we do. And I'm going to leave it at that because this is kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people.
How do you know more than we do? Like,
what?
You say you know it? Wait, did you say you know?
The people who've been investigating this for like 3 years now and have not found anything to actually convict her on.
Well, I kind of disagree, though. There's things to convict her on. Now, is it to the extent of imprisonment or anything like that? Perhaps not. Is it to the extent that she should not be allowed to run for president because essentially you're losing your top secret clearance? Because that's the normal punishment for this kind of thing. Yes, I agree. I think that she shouldn't be running for president. If you don't have a top secret clearance, you obviously cannot be president. And that is the normal punishment for something like this. And then for certain people, somehow we decide that we're going to be unfair and charge them with treason and charge them with imprisonment because the information that they leaked Well, made the government look bad.
Well, that's pretty much all that happened with her.
That she made the government look bad, yeah. So why isn't she getting the same treatment as the other two? Is what I'm asking. And
Because
again, I don't think that she should
essentially,
get that. I
okay,
don't think none of them should
okay,
get that.
look, essentially every case is different. We obviously don't know every single detail of the case, so I'm not going to go into whether or not it was right or wrong because I was not sitting on that board. She had people who were really out to get her on that board, and they didn't. So, that's all I'm saying
Well,
is,
Congress can't do anything about it. They can't. They can't even indict her. The only person that can do that is the attorney general.
yeah, well, what I'm
Um,
saying is the people on the board of investigation,
which was the FBI, and James Comey, the director of the FBI,
particular
clearly
people,
admits said
tried
that
very,
it is
very hard to get her, and it didn't
right.
happen. But my political whatevers are not really like what we're talking about right now. So all I'm going to say is we weren't there. Every case is different. You know, we have different cases for everything. They have different details. And on top of all of that, like, without all that, if even on
You
the
can't
subject
tell me
of
that
with
this is
her,
like not some sort of, and I'm not some sort of unfairness here. I mean,
okay, well, what I'm saying, even on,
regardless of my political stance and regardless of my candidate choice, I really don't think
even
that this is
at
fair.
that, it may not be fair, but what would we do? You know, what do you expect to happen? What do you want to happen? What would
I
you?
think the attorney general should do her job and
Okay,
punish her for the
yeah,
minimum
and then what?
punishment.
And then what?
Move on.
We don't have
I
a
mean, justice
Democratic
is justice.
nominee for presidency?
You get Bernie Sanders back.
Yay.
I mean,
It's
what do you want me to
difficult to
say?
even
If
call him a
somebody
Democrat.
becomes, and that happens though, people become unfit
Yeah.
to run for presidency. They become unqualified. Let's look at the first Romney, Mitt Romney, not Mitt Romney, the one that ran in 2008, but the Romney that, or 2012, his father, senior Romney. He was disqualified because even though he was born from U.S. citizens, he was not born in the U.S.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so he is not a U.S. citizen, a naturally born U.S. citizen, so he cannot run for president, right?
in that case,
Another disqualifying
Trump
factor
shouldn't be
is that
allowed on.
if
Okay, how
you're
about you
not
just
able,
talk and I'll just sit here and I'll listen to you? How about
no,
that?
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm not talking about this one anymore.
So there you have it. And you'll see that she'll still be kind of giving me the stink eye this next clip a little bit. So we got our next topic is about an app that just swept the nation and part of the world. And this app, I have to say, I don't really use it. I don't play it, but I have to say I like it. I have played it, keep in mind, but I don't have the patience for it. But I think I like it for a lot of people, and that is Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go is a game where you can go outside and go look for Pokemons essentially, and you catch them with Pokeballs on your phone, and you get to, I guess, trade, compete. Anyways, I think is a good idea because it gets people out. Because you have to actually go out. It uses your GPS, and you're like in this virtual world. And as you're walking around, your character's walking as well with you, and you go and find Pokemons around this virtual map. And then when you find one, you actually can use your webcam or your camera, your phone camera, and like you'll see like in real life, and you see a Pokemon there, even though it's not really there. It's a lot of it. I think it's a lot of fun. For me, I just don't have the patience for it. But Sarah plays it, and she talks a little bit about it in this next clip. So let's
All right. Let's move on to better things. Well, for some people, anyways. Pokemon Go.
That's a lighter topic.
I downloaded the app just to check it out.
Yeah.
I think I only had like 4 Pokemons, but it's become a great phenomenon. I like the idea of it. I know you play it more than I do.
I do play it quite a bit. I have fun with
I
it.
think, well, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it does get people out, but have you seen like some of the stories that they've been talking about? And I don't believe any of them really, of car accidents going on because people are like
Oh,
stopping in the middle of the road and
yeah.
like,
Yes, absolutely. If you play that while you're driving, you are going to die, probably.
right?
Yeah,
And it's
and
so
I
funny
mean,
because have you seen the pictures on Facebook of those like the car accidents supposedly that are
no, no.
they're they're terrible. Like they're like these huge pileups, and you see the one car, and you can totally tell which car was the one that was playing Pokemon Go. It's hilarious.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have not only people running into the street to catch Pokemon, but you have people in their cars, running around trying to, you know, get shit Pokestops and, catch Pokemon and stuff. And if you don't have a fucking side dude, a side dude, to
A
do your
co-pilot,
Pokemoning,
a
a co-pilot side dude to do your Pokemoning, yeah, you're probably gonna eventually wreck into something because
Pokemon wingman.
you'll be like, where the fuck did that Magikarp go? I don't know who wants a Magikarp really, but well, I mean, I guess they're cool if you get like a billion of them.
I mean, what do you think that drives people to be so obsessed with this game?
It's fun.
Well, I
Besides the
get.
nostalgia, take nostalgia out 100%, okay? Nostalgia is a big factor in it. A lot of these kids like really liked Pokemon like when they were young, they watched the show, the movies, the games, there was a lot. The cards,
Oh,
they had little
I played the
Pokemon
Pokemon
cards.
Game Boy. Yeah.
And then I mean, it's a really interesting game that allows you to interact with your surroundings. So I think it's different than every other game because it actually forces you to leave your house. You're not doing the same thing over and over again. You are, but you aren't. It's exciting
Right.
because, you can go out and find new Pokemon that you don't have, and then you can evolve them into other stuff and power them up, and you can also fight. There's just a lot of different facets to the game that I think makes it a pretty good game.
And I think one of the things I also kind of like about it too is it seems like it's, for the most part, you can pretty much play the whole thing free if you really wanted to,
Oh yeah,
and still
like
have a lot of fun with it.
the only problem is that I guess somehow they weren't expecting it to be as popular as it is, and people just flooded this thing, and the servers been down, it crashes all the time, it has a lot of problems, but it's really fun. It's one of the best games I think free apps I've ever played. In that it's not I don't know, like Candy Crush, for instance, you just like ding, 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 ding. It's really simple. This is a complex game in an app.
Right.
You don't have to pay for it. It's free. It's amazing. And there are like not ads and stuff. There you can pay for things within the game, but you don't need it to play the game. And
Right.
I don't have to worry about a pop-up every 10 seconds or something like that. The worst thing I have to worry about is, I catch a rare Pokemon and the app freezes and I have to close out and lose it. So stuff
Um,
like that.
I walked in when I played it. Again, I don't play it like heavily or anything. I think I have 4 or 5 Pokemons, and I think I haven't played it in like the last 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
But I remember the one time that I played, um, I was trying to. I was going to go to the movie theaters, and while I was waiting for the movies with my girlfriend, I went in and I found. I saw that there was a Pokemon that. You know how you see like the grassy thing. And I
Yeah.
guess that's where you're supposed to go to, right? And so I saw it in the Barnes and Noble area. So I decided to go try to chase it. And um, I go into the Barnes and Noble. I'm like looking at my phone, and like I totally ran into one of the freaking setup things of
Yeah.
freaking. uh, the Nooks or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
It was just hilarious. Like I was not paying any attention to where I was going. I just ran into that thing.
yeah.
Um, and you see that, like you say, you see it all the time. Like I almost ran into, my neighbors almost ran into my car as I'm trying to leave the parking lot, and like they're just not paying any attention. Like they're just,
Yeah.
you know, following
Well,
this phone.
I mean, the good
It's
thing about it
funny.
though, I think there's a lot of positives that come with it because if you're sitting at, a Pokestop with a lure module, people who play it will know what I'm talking about. Um, you can find like I'll go out in the courtyard where I live and there'll be like 20 people just chilling there playing Pokemon. And I mean, it's like a little community and it's fun and you talk to people and you get to know people and you walk around your community. It's a pretty good game, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea. I mean, it's not for me, but I do see that it is getting people out. I was walking to go get some dinner at the shopping center right next to where I live, and I saw like kids. There was kids outside. Like you rarely see that nowadays. Kids playing outside. So definitely a positive.
And it forces you to walk too. Walk.
Yeah.
Because it won't register it if you're going over a certain
Oh, I
speed.
lost my earpiece.
No, no.
That's a blooper for you.
Yeah.
Um, but mark my words though, the first person that gets ran over by a car or like an actual accident happens, that's gonna come crushing down on this thing.
Oh,
Uh,
it's already started. It has already started because there are signs, there are emails being sent out at work and stuff, like, threats, like you're not allowed to play Pokemon Go anywhere in this area, it's crazy. Like, and within just, I don't know, a week or two of the game coming out, it's insane. It's insane. I'm like honestly shocked at how many people play it. I mean, I know a lot of people were into it as kids, but I wasn't really into it that much when I was a kid, and now I'm playing it and I really like it. So, I mean, it's
More power
getting
to you.
like non like pokey fans into it and stuff. So,
Right.
Thank you, Sarah, again. As always, your inputs are awesome. Uh, she's part of Team Valor, which I don't know what that means. I guess there's 3 teams, and one of them we don't talk about. So, yeah. But good for you, Sarah. Let's move on. So our next thing is I got to interview Kennedy Aaron. So Kennedy Aaron has been in a collab video with us in the past, and I have to say, she's a young woman that I admire and respect very much. She has her own YouTube channel, which is Thought Process, so I will make sure that you can see how to get to that. And she's just an amazing young woman in my mind. Very kind, very sweet, and we talked in our last video with her, in our collab video, about her writing a book called Aura. And it's actually coming out. It's being published. It's coming out July 29th. It'll be available on Amazon, both paperback and electronic. So I interviewed her about this, and we got to talk about a little other things. So let's go ahead and watch that clip.
All right, I'm here with Kennedy Aaron. She was on our show previously, about what, like 6 episodes now ago?
Yeah, I think.
Give or take. Since then, we've still been following each other, and I really appreciate her comments on our videos and viewing our videos, and that's really awesome. I hope I provided as much support, and I probably could provide more support, so I'll make sure to do so, especially with your new book coming out. Well, your book that we already spoke about, but now being published.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. I mean, it's coming out on July 29th, right?
Yeah.
You can get it on Amazon. Anywhere else?
Right now, it's being distributed through Amazon based on the ISBN that I bought.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about that. What was like the experience of getting to that point?
Um, I I'm publishing it through CreateSpace, which is a self-publishing company through Amazon, and I learned about it by talking to somebody that worked at Best Buy. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity because they have services that you can pay for, but the services that I went through are free because I decided to format the book. But if you don't want to do that yourself, then you can talk to professionals through them, have them format your book, help you with grammar and spelling and correcting the book, and you get to decide everything that happens through the publishing journey.
That's awesome. So basically, Amazon is providing like your editing and your as an editor, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. So are you excited? Like, what are your feelings about it? Are you nervous or?
I was nervous when I got the physical copy. I don't have it on me now because I let a friend borrow it, but I was very nervous opening that box because this is the idea for the story I've had since 8th grade, so it's been about 6 years now. And I've been working on the book itself for 3 years, and to finally feel it in my hands and to see it was just an incredible feeling.
I bet. I can't even imagine. I
Yeah.
mean, being that young and writing a book was never, even a thought, I think. I had
I
a hard
have
time writing simple essays and stuff, so
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that write a lot of stories or they draw a lot of pictures, like really great, for instance, anime characters or friends that love to sing a lot, and they sort of do it for hobbies and they claim that they want to do it professionally, but they never did. And I'm just somebody that if I want to do something professionally, then I'll go out and do it. Yeah, it just never occurs to me not to.
that's awesome. Well, I mean, so how would you know? Well, you'll be able to know how successful that book will be, and um, like, is there like predictions? Do you know anything? Like, have your, I guess, so like editors have told you anything about like what that experience will be?
Well, the difference I see the main difference between traditional publishing and self-publishing is that traditional publishing you have people that you can pay to promote your book, and with self-publishing you pretty much have to do it on your own. And so I have to go out through all of these avenues and personally promote the book, and then have friends and family and supporters also promote it as well. So that's the challenge. That's the new challenge once I publish it.
That is awesome. So will people be able to buy it electronically as well?
Yes, they will be able to buy it at a link that I'll provide. I don't have the link right now because I haven't actually published it yet.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it just because being able to read a book from somebody that I actually know will be, pretty awesome because I can, from the videos I've watched on your YouTube channel, I already kind of know the type of person you are, and from us talking, um, it'll be interesting to kind of have that perspective as I'm reading the book. And I've already read parts of it, the parts that you have already shared,
Yeah,
and it looks pretty interesting. I was telling my co-host Sarah that normally I'm not really into like fantasy books, and like I cannot stand Harry Potter. I cannot stand the Twilights, and the only one. Well, no, because I haven't even read the books. Game of Thrones. I love the show, but I don't think I
yeah,
would be able to read the books. I'm usually the type of person that likes to read autobiographies and like current event type stuff, but nothing like magic and stuff like that. And reading what you have provided, I saw some things that I do like about it, and it's kind of like there's like a political twist to it,
Yeah.
if you get what I mean. I don't know if you intended for that to happen, but there's like a political and there's like a historical twist to it.
Yeah, when I write, I usually try to keep it as much to reality as possible, but I still do like the fantasy element. So that's why like there's two types of people in the world, and that kind of motif throughout the book, because that just makes it a little more exciting for me. But I do try to root it in like actual people and how actual people would really feel, because um, that's what's going to capture your audience. That's what your audience is going to relate to, is characters that represent them, and that's what's going to have them recommend it to other people and just read it over and over again.
Right. I'm excited, so can't wait. Hopefully, I'm like the very first one that orders it.
All right, thank
uh,
you.
so, what are you able to discuss like the pricing of it?
It's going to be $24.99.
Right on. Well, I hope the best for you on this journey. I bet it can be nerve-wracking sometimes. I know that you've worked very hard and long hours to get this through with the like you said, it's self-published, so you're self-marketing, you're self promoting it. So I'm sure that's a lot of work, and I respect you for that.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
So I did want to ask some other questions besides your book, because I do watch your videos and I know that you have a personal opinion and stance of things that are going on with
Yes,
current events.
yeah, I do.
And like you've seen on our shows on No Shites Given, me and Sarah have different opinions on a lot of things as well.
Yeah.
And for me, No Shites Given is all about that. It's about hearing everybody's opinions and everybody's side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot.
Okay, go ahead.
What's your opinion on, as far as what's going on with the police shootings, people shooting at police, and almost like this, it seems to me almost like a war against predominantly blacks against police. But we have seen where police have been being, I guess, brutal with not with everybody, but with some other ethnicities as well.
Yeah. I grew up in a black family. My mother was black. I moved in with her after I was 13, I think, because I lived with my dad before then. And my brother, who is darker than me, and he's obviously multiracial, he has been involved with drugs and stuff like that. And I worry for him when I hear about all of this stuff, because it just kind of feels like if the people in our neighborhood don't get him, then the police will. And it possibly could be like Trayvon Martin, where he goes out just to buy something from the grocery store, and then the police think he's doing something shady and they shoot him. I mean, I always have that fear whenever I hear these stories. So I am biased towards the Black Lives Matter movement, because our lives do matter, and unfortunately in our society we've been discriminated against by the law enforcement. Although for somebody to shoot the police in Dallas, I don't know if they claim to be part of Black Lives Matter or not, but that's also not right either. I don't condone that. I don't think that was right. I think that the Black Lives Matter side is very, our opinions are very stubborn. sometimes, and sometimes the people that are all about Black Lives Matter don't want to hear what especially the police have to say, but I think that's also a problem. And I also think that the police that do these shootings or that try to cover up these shootings and don't try to see the other side, they also are very stubborn too. So that's what it comes down to for me, is that people on both sides are unwilling to listen to the other person's perspective and come to some sort of compromise, come to justice for both sides.
Well, I think for me personally, and I agree with a lot of what you've said, and I appreciate that you have a personal, I guess, experience with it in a way. And I think the biggest thing, like you said, is getting both sides to kind of listen to each other, but also realization that on both sides, the few little negative events, it's not, we're generalizing it. So, for example, the police that have shot people that were unarmed and was in excess of force, not all cops are like that.
Yeah, and I know that.
Those few police officers, and on the other side of the coin, it's the same thing. It's not, like the shooting in Dallas, we can't generalize, oh, well, this is how all blacks think about police.
Yeah.
Or when I've seen a few videos where, some riots get really out of hand and they are attacking police that are not doing anything wrong. And then we generalize it and say, oh, that's how everybody is.
Yeah. And I saw it written on Facebook somewhere that it said something like this police brutality has been happening for generations. The only difference is that now everybody has a smartphone and a camera. So It is a problem. It's not everybody. It's not all police being bad. I agree with that, but it is still a problem.
It definitely is, and I think we do need to come together. I see like all this hate on Facebook and on Twitter, and I feel that we need to somehow get people to see it in a different perspective and seeing it in, okay, there's just a misunderstanding. We need to figure out a way to avoid these situations. On the police side, we need to make sure that a lot of these police officers are well trained in knowing when to use a certain amount of force.
Yeah.
Being somebody that has military experience, we're taught a sort of a triangle, right, to use force. And especially when going into deadly force, you have to make sure that that triangle is complete, that there's now I have to remember what it was, but we have to make sure that certain steps have been completed before we get to that point.
Yeah.
I've seen, like you said, everybody has a cell phone now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it's a blessing because we do get the truth a lot faster when there's a lot more eyes on the situation.
Yeah.
I think it's a curse because it is causing a lot of negativity and a lot of hate and discontent between people.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say. It's just, for one thing, you also do have to be careful about if maybe a video was staged. Not that I'm insinuating anything that's been out recently, but that's something you do have to think about.
I think I know what you're talking about too, because I was thinking about putting it out.
Yeah, or if the video was somehow photoshopped or something like that. So that is a consideration to have. But I think what it does is it exposes a lot of the ugliness in the world, and it can turn people against each other. But it reveals the truth, and it gives, and being able to record something and have the world see it allows people to have their voices heard, because like a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video might be worth 1,000,000. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your thoughts and opinions on this subject. Best of luck with your book. I can't wait. And we'll even give a review on our show or something. I think that would be pretty cool. So don't forget, July 29th, Kennedy Aaron, her book, Aura,
Mm-hmm.
will be out on July 29th on Amazon. Check out her Facebook, her Twitter, and her website. We'll put all those addresses down below in the description. And good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
So there you have it, everybody. Again, Kennedy, you're amazing. Please go on Amazon, July 29th, order her book. I'm sure you'll love it. And all the best luck to you, Kennedy. Hope it all goes well. So that's all we got. Remember, don't forget to comment below. Let us know what you want us to talk about. What topics do you want us to see talk about? Maybe any topics that I might get Sarah mad again. Just kidding. Although I'm pretty sure it will happen again, but that's okay because we still, respect each other. And yeah, that's all we got. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.